Hey everyone, welcome back. The biggest mistake you make when reacting. What I'm about to tell you will completely change how you handle every conflict, every criticism, and every stressful situation for the rest of your life. And the crazy part? You're probably making this mistake right now without even knowing it. Because by the end of this video, you'll have a superpower that 99% of people don't possess. I help people unlock their potential by understanding the psychology behind their everyday behaviors. Today, we're diving deep into something that affects every single one of us, multiple times a day, yet most people are completely unaware they're doing it wrong. I'm talking about how you react to things. And before you think, oh, I know how to react to stuff, let me ask you this. Have you ever said something in anger that you immediately regretted? Have you ever made a situation worse by how you responded to it? Do you sometimes feel like your emotions control you instead of the other way around? If you answered yes to any of these, then you're making the mistake. The one mistake that's sabotaging your relationships, your career, your mental health, and your overall happiness. Here's what's wild. Harvard Business School did a study and found that people who master this one skill are 40% more likely to get promoted, have 25% better relationships, and report being 60% more satisfied with their lives. So what are we covering today? We're going to break down what this massive mistake actually is, why your brain is literally wired to make this mistake, the exact framework I use to overcome it and teach my clients, real-life examples and case studies, a step-by-step system you can implement immediately. And stick around until the end, because I'm going to share the emergency protocol, what to do when you catch yourself making this mistake in real time. All right, here it is. The biggest mistake you make when reacting is this. You react to the situation instead of reacting from your values. I know. You might be thinking, that's it? That sounds too simple. But hear me out, because this is deeper than you think. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a marketing manager at a tech company. Smart, hardworking, had her eye on a promotion. One day, her boss calls her into his office and tells her that her biggest project, the one she'd been working on for months, was being handed over to her colleague, Mike. Now, Sarah's immediate reaction was anger. She felt betrayed, undervalued, overlooked, so she reacted to that feeling. She argued with her boss, questioned his decision-making, and stormed out of the meeting. 3 months later, Mike got the promotion Sarah wanted. Here's what Sarah didn't realize. She reacted to the situation, feeling angry and betrayed, instead of reacting from her values, professionalism, growth, strategic thinking. Now imagine if Sarah had paused and asked herself, what kind of person do I want to be in this situation? What would someone I admire do here? She might have said something like, I understand this is disappointing news for me. Can you help me understand the reasoning behind this decision and what I can do to be considered for similar opportunities in the future? Same situation, completely different outcome. This is happening to you every single day. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you react to the annoyance instead of from your value of staying calm and safe. Your partner forgets to do the dishes. You react to the frustration instead of from your value of clear, loving communication. Your teenager breaks curfew. Your friend cancels last minute. Your internet goes down during an important call. Every time you have a choice, react to the immediate emotion or react from who you want to be. Now, before we dive into how to fix this, you need to understand why this happens. And it's not your fault. Your brain is literally designed to make this mistake. Meet your amygdala. Let's call her Amy. Amy is the part of your brain responsible for detecting threats and triggering your fight-or-flight response. She's been keeping humans alive for thousands of years, and she's really good at her job. The problem is, Amy can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and your boss giving you critical feedback. To her, both are threats that need immediate action. Here's the thing. Our brains evolved when our biggest problems were things like, don't get eaten by that lion, or find food before winter. Quick, Instinctive reactions were literally life or death. But now, most of our problems are complex, social, and require thoughtful responses. Yet we're still using caveman software for modern problems. Dr. Daniel Kahneman, who won a Nobel Prize for his work on behavioral psychology, talks about System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. This is where most of our reactions come from. System 2 is slow, deliberate, logical. This is where our values and long-term thinking live. When you react to a situation, you're operating purely in System 1. When you react from your values, you're engaging System 2? Let me show you exactly how this plays out. Remember Sarah from earlier? Here's what was happening in her brain. System 1 reaction. Situation, project taken away. Immediate thought. This is unfair. Emotion, anger, betrayal. Action, argue, storm out. Result, damaged relationship with boss. System 2, response. Situation, project taken away. Values check. I value professionalism and growth. Strategic thinking. How can I handle this to benefit my long-term goals? Action, ask questions, seek feedback. Result, strengthened relationship, valuable insights. Here's something fascinating. Neuroscientists have found that there's about a 6-second delay between when your amygdala fires and when the chemical rush hits your system. That means you have a 6-second window to choose your response. 6 seconds. That's your superpower window. I learned this the hard way. 3 years ago, I got into a massive argument with my business partner over an email. I was so focused on being right that I almost destroyed a relationship and a business we'd built together. Later, when I calmed down and reread the email, I realized I had completely misinterpreted his tone. My System 1 brain saw a threat that wasn't even there. That's when I knew I had to master this skill, and now I'm going to teach it to you. The framework, the VALUE's method. All right, now for the good stuff. I'm going to teach you the exact framework I use and teach all my clients. I call it the VALUE's method, and it's going to change your life. V, pause and verify. A, assess. Your values. L, look at the bigger picture. U, understand. The other perspective. E, evaluate. Your options. S, select your response. Let me break down each step. VET, pause and verify. When something happens that triggers you, your first job is to pause. Count to 6. I know it sounds simple, but this is where most people fail. During these 6 seconds, verify what's actually happening versus what your brain thinks is happening. Ask yourself, what are the facts here separate from my interpretation? Your boss emails you. We need to talk about your performance. System 1 reaction. Oh no, I'm in trouble. I might get fired. This is a disaster. Verify. The fact is, my boss wants to discuss my performance. I don't know if it's positive or negative. I don't know the context. I'm adding my own interpretation. Assess your values. This is the game changer. Instead of reacting based on your immediate emotion, you react based on who you want to be. I want you to pause this video right now and write down your top 5 values. What matters most to you? Maybe it's integrity, kindness, growth, family, excellence, peace, authenticity. Got them? Good. These are your North Star for every reaction. Back to the boss email. Sarah's values might be 1. Professionalism, 2. Growth mindset, 3. To excellence, 4. Authenticity, 5. On resilience. So instead of panicking, she asks, how would someone with these values respond? L. Look at the bigger picture. Zoom out. What's the context here? What are your long-term goals? How will you want to remember handling this situation a year from now? I like to use what I call time travel thinking. How will I feel about this reaction in 10 minutes? How about in 10 days? What about 10 years? This immediately shifts you from reactive to strategic thinking. Ooh, understand the other perspective. This is where empathy becomes your superpower. Before you respond, try to understand where the other person is coming from. Maybe your boss is under pressure from his boss. Maybe there's budget constraints you don't know about. Maybe he's actually planning to give you feedback that will help you grow. You don't need to agree with their perspective, but understanding it will always lead to a better outcome. Evaluate your options. Now you brainstorm. What are all the possible ways you could respond? I usually try to come up with at least 3-5 options, ranging from passive to assertive. Ignore the email and hope it goes away, passive. Respond immediately, asking what's wrong, reactive. Schedule a meeting and prepare thoughtfully, strategic. Talk to a colleague first to get context, information gathering. Reflect on recent performance and prepare for various scenarios, proactive. Select your response. Finally, choose the option that best aligns with your values and long-term goals. Notice I didn't say choose the option that feels best in the moment. That's the old way. So Sarah's full process might look like: pause, take 6 seconds, breathe, verify. Boss wants to discuss performance. I don't know the context. Assess values. I value professionalism, growth, excellence. Bigger picture. I want to be promoted and respected here long-term. Understand. Boss might be under pressure, or this could be positive feedback. Evaluate options. List 5 different response strategies. Select. I'll respond professionally. Schedule a meeting and prepare thoughtfully. Let's practice with a common scenario. Someone posts something on social media that really annoys you. Maybe it's political. Maybe it's misinformation. Maybe it's just something you disagree with strongly. Your immediate reaction might be to comment angrily, share it with your own sarcastic comment, or send them a direct message telling them they're wrong. Let's run it through values. I'll let you work through this one. Pause the video and actually do this exercise. It's the only way you'll internalize this framework. Real-life case studies. Now let me show you how this works in real life with some case studies from people I've worked with. Case study 1, the marriage saver. Tom and Lisa had been married for 12 years, but they were on the brink of divorce. Their biggest issue? How they fought. Every disagreement turned into a massive argument because they were both reacting to each other's emotions instead of from their shared values. One night, Lisa came home exhausted from work to find Tom playing video games while the dishes were still dirty. Her immediate reaction was anger. He doesn't care about our home. He's lazy. He doesn't respect me. Old Lisa would have started with, really? You're playing games while our kitchen looks like a disaster zone? But we'd been working on the values method. So instead, pause. She took 6 seconds in the doorway. Verify. The dishes are dirty. Tom is playing games. I don't know why. Values. I value our partnership, communication, and respect. Bigger picture. I want a happy marriage, not to be right in this moment. Understand. Maybe Tom had a rough day too. Maybe he didn't notice. Evaluate. Multiple response options. Select. Hey babe, I'm pretty tired. Could we tackle these dishes together and then both relax? Tom's response? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I got distracted. Of course, let me help. What could have been a fight became a bonding moment. 6 months later, Tom and Lisa tell me their relationship is stronger than ever. Same people, same stresses, but completely different reactions. Case study 2, the career catalyst. Marcus was a software engineer who felt stuck in his career. Every time he got feedback from his manager, he would get defensive and make excuses. He was reacting to the criticism instead of from his value of continuous improvement. During one performance review, his manager said, Marcus, your code quality has been inconsistent, and you seem to struggle with collaborative projects. Old Marcus would have said, that's not fair. I work harder than anyone on this team, and those collaborative projects failed because other people didn't do their part. New Marcus, using VAUES. Pause, took a breath. Verify. My manager is giving me feedback about code quality and collaboration. Values. I value growth, excellence, and teamwork. Bigger picture. I want to advance my career and become a senior developer. Understand. My manager wants me to succeed and is pointing out growth areas. Select. Thank you for the feedback. Can you give me specific examples so I can understand exactly what to improve? And what resources would you recommend to help me get better at collaborative work? 6 months later, Marcus got promoted to senior developer. His manager later told him that his response to feedback was what convinced them. He was ready for more responsibility. Case study 3. The parenting game changer. Jennifer was a single mom of 2 teenagers, and every conversation seemed to turn into an argument. Her 16-year-old daughter Emma was constantly pushing boundaries, and Jennifer was exhausted from always being the bad guy. One Friday night, Emma came home 2 hours past curfew, smelling like cigarettes. Jennifer's immediate reaction was fury. "She's disrespecting me, being irresponsible, lying to me." Old Jennifer would have exploded. "Where have you been? You're grounded for a month. I can't trust you at all." But Jennifer had been practicing VALUEs. Pause. Counted to 6 while Emma walked in. Verify. Emma is late and smells like smoke. I don't know the full story. Values. I value her safety, our relationship, and teaching responsibility. Bigger picture. I want to raise a confident, responsible adult who trusts me. Understand. She's a teenager testing boundaries. Maybe something happened. Select. Emma, I'm glad you're home safe. I can see you're late and I smell cigarettes. I'm concerned about you. Can we sit down and talk about what happened tonight? Emma, expecting to be yelled at, was surprised by her mom's calm approach. She opened up about peer pressure, about feeling stressed about college applications, about how smoking made her feel older and more confident. Instead of punishment, they had an honest conversation about stress management, peer pressure, and making good decisions. Jennifer told me, I realized I was reacting to my fear of being a bad parent. Instead of reacting from my love for my daughter, it changed everything. Okay, but what about when you mess up? What about when you catch yourself in the middle of making this mistake? I call this the emergency protocol. Step 1, stop mid-sentence. The moment you realize you're reacting emotionally, instead of responding from your values, stop. Even if you're mid-sentence, even if it feels awkward. Just last month, I was on a call with a potential business partner, and he said something that triggered me. I started responding defensively. And halfway through my sentence, I caught myself. I literally said, "You know what? Let me pause for a second. I think I'm reacting emotionally to what you said instead of responding thoughtfully. Can I take a moment to think about this?" He was so impressed by that response that it actually strengthened our potential partnership. Step 2, acknowledge and reset. If you're talking to someone else, acknowledge what happened. I'm sorry. I think I'm reacting emotionally right now. Can we pause so I can respond more thoughtfully? If you're alone, like responding to an email, just step away from the situation for a few minutes. Step 3, run the VALUEs method. Even in emergency mode, you can quickly run through the framework. What are the facts? What do I value here? What's my long-term goal? How do I want to show up? Step 4, re-engage authentically. Come back to the conversation or situation and respond from your values. Don't pretend the emotional reaction didn't happen. Own it, but show that you can course correct. Here's an advanced technique I call emotional transparency. Instead of pretending you don't have emotions, acknowledge them while choosing your response. I notice I'm feeling defensive about this feedback, and I don't want that emotion to drive my response. What I value is growth and our working relationship. So let me ask you some questions to better understand your perspective. This is incredibly powerful because it shows emotional intelligence and self-awareness. The 24-hour rule. For really big situations, major conflicts, important decisions, emotionally charged situations, implement the 24-hour rule. Tell yourself, and others if needed, this is important enough that I want to respond thoughtfully. Can I get back to you tomorrow? Sleep is like a reset button for your emotional brain. What feels like a crisis today might feel manageable tomorrow. Plus, it gives you time to fully process the situation through your VALUEs framework. Common emergency situations and responses. Situation: someone insults you publicly. Emergency response: I'm going to take a moment before responding to that. Then use VALUEs to craft a response. Situation: You send an angry email and immediately regret it. Emergency response. Send a follow-up. I realized my previous email was more emotional than professional. Let me rephrase. Situation. You snap at your kid, partner, friend. Emergency response. I'm sorry that wasn't fair. I'm feeling frustrated about something else, and I took it out on you. Can we start over? The key is speed. The faster you catch yourself and course correct, the less damage is done, and the more you reinforce your new habit. Implementation plan. All right, you've got the knowledge. Now let's make sure you actually use it. Here's your implementation plan. Week 1, awareness building. Your only job this week is to notice when you're reacting to situations instead of from your values. Don't try to change anything yet, just notice. Keep a simple log. What triggered me? How did I react? What values could I have drawn from instead? Week 2, the 6-second practice. This week, focus solely on the pause. Every time you feel triggered, count to 6. That's it. Don't worry about the rest of the framework yet. Week 3, values integration. Now start asking yourself, how would someone with my values respond to this? Practice identifying your values in real time. Week 4, full framework. This week, you're ready to use the complete VALUES method for small situations. Don't try to use it for your biggest triggers yet. Start small. Advanced practice tips. The daily review, every evening, think of one interaction from that day and walk it through VALUES. The values card. Write your top 5 values on a card and keep it in your wallet or phone case. The accountability partner. Share this framework with someone and check in weekly. The trigger list. Identify your top 5 triggers and pre-plan your values-based responses, making it stick. Set phone reminders for the first month. Am I reacting to or from? Practice with low-stakes situations first. Celebrate small wins. Every time you catch yourself is a victory. Be patient with yourself. This is rewiring decades of neural pathways. Warning signs. You're falling back into old patterns. You justify reactive behavior with, but they... You feel righteously angry most of the time. Your relationships are getting more strained. You keep having the same conflicts over and over. When you notice these, it's time to double down on the framework. Let me leave you with this. Every single interaction you have for the rest of your life is an opportunity to practice this skill. Every trigger, every frustration, every moment of anger or disappointment, it's all practice. The people who master this, who learn to respond from their values instead of to their emotions, they become the leaders, the trusted friends, the respected colleagues, the parents their kids look up to. I want to end with one more story. Last week, I got a message from someone who watched my content 6 months ago. She said, I used to be known as the person who exploded in meetings. People walked on eggshells around me. I was miserable, and I was making everyone else miserable too. After learning your framework, everything changed. Last month, I got promoted to team lead, not despite my emotions, but because I learned to lead with my values. My relationships are better, I sleep better, and I actually like who I am now. That's what's possible for you. Here's what I want you to do right now. Hit that like button if this video helped you. It helps me reach more people who need this message. Subscribe and ring the bell because I post new psychology and personal development content every week. Comment below with your top value, the one you want to guide your reactions moving forward. Share this video with someone who needs it. We all know someone who struggles with their reactions. And if you want to go deeper, I've created a free PDF guide called The VALUES Method Quick Reference that you can keep on your phone. The link is in the description. Here's my challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, before you react to anything, a text message, a work email, your kid asking for something, traffic, ask yourself this one question. Am I about to react to this situation or from my values? Just that one question will start rewiring your brain. Remember, you always have a choice. You can be someone who is controlled by their circumstances, or you can be someone who responds with intention, wisdom, and strength. The choice is yours, every single time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.